Hi, everybody.
All right. Hello, everybody. It's good to see you all here. I have muted everybody out. So if there are questions afterwards, please unmute yourself and yell. What I'm doing is I'm following on what I spoke about last week. As I've said before, I'm going to try and do a series on Jim McAfee's book of Your Body's Sign Language, because it is a book I find incredibly fascinating, because it's tells you so much, and there's still a huge amount that I need to learn. And it's mind-blowing at times about the information that's coming through. Right, I'm going to share my screen, and at least I'm going to try and share my screen. Okay, can everybody see that? You can share, okay, you got my screen. I'm just going to minimize my window a little bit more. And let's go, start from the beginning. Yeah, let's go. Okay, so all of this is going to come from Jim McAfee's book of the same name called Your Body's Sign Language. And our bodies are talking to us all the time. I think through life and through daily activities and things, we tend to sort of ignore it at times. I know I do. There's those little pain signs that talk to us, and we just ignore them and hope like mad they go away. There's the odd aches and things which we put onto old age, but it's not always. And there's lots of little signs, and the more I read this book and the more signs I see, the more I go, oh, actually, that's quite interesting. So without trying to get off topic, I'm just going to go through this. So following on from last week's talk, which was on body shape, and Jim goes through his whole book. He's broken it up into different chapters. We start off with the body shape, and then we go through, where's this thing? We go through scalp and hair, which is what we'll do next week. Whoa.
Sorry, that's me.
Okay. All right. Okay, there we go. Sounds better. Sorry, it's just echoing my ear a little bit there. So we're going to do scalp and hair next week, eyes and forehead, probably the next 2 weeks, nose and ears, mouth and teeth, neck and shoulders, the skin, and that might go for a couple of weeks, hands and fingers, back and legs, elimination, appetite and digestion, the brain and nerves, internal organs and conditions, and then male and female at the end. So it's quite a lot. It's quite a thick book, but it's fascinating. But tonight we're focusing on a little bit more of the body shape. And we did the big, the spare wheel last week. This week we're going to do obesity in general. Between 1975 and 2016, over 10 times more children and adolescents were obese. And that is quite a scary figure. And if you've ever been to a primary school, it's very, very scary to see the size of these kids coming through there. A lot of those kids are heavier than me, and they are 6 years old or 7 years old. I know I'm abnormal in that I'm the opposite extreme, but it's a problem. And as we know in the States, obesity is, pardon the pun, a massive problem. And it's not just a problem because of size, it causes all sorts of other issues as well, such as diabetes and heart conditions, and it's heavy on joints and all the rest. And just this week, I've seen a couple of patients who are scarily big, and they've got issues, circulation problems, joint problems. They battle to fit through a normal door. They battle to fit into, the one lady was in a wheelchair and we've got to order a special wheelchair. So it's a problem. And the definition of obesity is an excessive amount of body weight, generally greater than 20% above the ideal weight for height. That's what obesity is. Now there's all sorts of figures and things, and you can go into Google and check out charts as to exactly what that is. And to be quite honest, that's just a rough guide. You get people who weigh in at 120 kilos, but they also are about 2 meters tall. That's not a problem. Yes, they're big, they're solid, but they're not obese. So you can be overweight from a medical condition and technically be obese, but not the same condition. It is estimated that more than 1 in 3 adults in the USA are obese. So now these stats obviously do come from the States. We don't seem to have quite the same sort of processes and studies and things done in this country, but I think we're pretty close to the figures from the States. So we'll work on the USA figures, but you can make it an equivalent to South Africa. Obesity increases the risk of cancer, heart disease, and increases wear and tear on joints. And from my perspective as well, as an aside over there, if you are considered obese, according to the charts which the doctors will take, should you have to go in for some surgery, you will be charged extra. And those with medical aid may not pay that. So it is a big problem. Consuming too many calories from rapidly absorbed carbohydrates. These are the simple carbohydrates. These are your starches, your breads, your cereals, your processed foods. And engaging in too little exercise can lead to obesity. That's not the only cause. It is a very common cause these days. And again, relating to patients that I've seen, there's a condition often found in children called Blount's disease, where the legs sort of bow out at the knees, and that requires surgical intervention. And what saddens me is when I see these kids, and they usually start from around about anything between 6 to about 9 years of age, sometimes a little bit older, but very rare. And they go in for this quite traumatic surgery, where essentially the doctor breaks their legs, wedges it straight, and puts wires and pins in there, and then they encase them in plaster cast from the top of their thighs to their feet for 6 weeks. Those kids go into surgery, they come out, when they wake up, there's a bucket of KFC sitting next to the bed. And unfortunately, they're not sharing that bucket with anybody else. They are eating it themselves. And that is one of the causes of the reason that they're having the surgery in the first place. And to try and get the child and the parents to understand that is very, very difficult. We live in an instant society. And I know on Friday night, I only got home after 7 o'clock. I was exhausted. It had been a long day. I did not, and my wife had also only got home very late. So we did not really feel like cooking. So what's the next best thing? Go and find some instant food, which we did. Shh, don't tell anybody, but it's not a daily occurrence. But I do see people daily eating fast foods. I see people at the hospital. The hospital gives them a proper diet of, okay, hospital diets, let's put this into perspective. Hospital diets are not obesity or diabetic friendly. They are laden with starch. Any dietitian worth their salt will tell you that. And it's actually very, very scary. But the hospital staff don't really like eating hospital food. So they'll send out for a burger and chips. They'll send out for KFC. They'll send out for pizza. And this is where the problem comes in, because it's not just the staff I'm seeing, it's people in offices, it's people, and specifically office workers, I think. Thank heavens I'm not stuck behind a computer all day, because I suspect I might be then quite a lot broader than what I am at the moment. Because when you're focusing on a computer or focusing on work, our brain relies heavily on carbohydrates. Your body's not moving because all you're moving are your fingers and your eyes on the screen. But to keep awake and to keep focused, you popping in the carbohydrates, and your brain is utilizing some of them, and the rest of it's being stored. And we all know where that happens. So it is a problem over there. Other problems of obesity are low thyroid and other glandular imbalances. These can lead to weight gain. So as I said, obesity isn't just diet related. Often people who are on chronic cortisone treatments balloon up and they put on weight like you won't believe. Through no fault of their own, it's because of the medication. Skipped or small breakfasts, skipped or small lunches, and a large evening meal can also lead to weight gain. You wake up late, you're in a hurry. Thank heavens we don't have a major problem over here, but if you're in a big city, you know you've got to get to work, where on a Sunday afternoon would possibly take you about 10, 15 minutes to get there. On a Monday morning, probably will take you closer to an hour. And you wake up thinking that you've got 15 minutes to get to work when you've actually stuck in traffic for an hour. You don't have time for breakfast, so you skip it. Or you'll have a cup of coffee, or you'll have in the States they use bagels, but here we have other fast foods and things, or nothing as you run out the door. Same with lunch. Work is hectic, you're in a hurry, and maybe your work doesn't provide lunch. Maybe because you woke up late, you didn't pack a lunch. So you either skip lunch or you have another snack, and again, myself, I have a sandwich every day for lunch. That's bread, that's starch, that's not good. But I am fortunate in that I get to be moving on a regular basis. So on a good day, I can do 5 kilometers of walking between my office and my hospital and around the hospital and back again. So I am very fortunate in that I can burn off all those excess calories, but a lot of people aren't that lucky. And then you get home in the evening, and because you now have starved all day, and if you really want to put it into perspective, you've starved since the night before when you had supper last, now you're going to eat because your body's crying out for nutrients. So you have whatever you can find, and maybe it's fried, maybe it's whatever, but you have a big meal and you quickly shove it down your gullet. And that's a problem because, again, now you almost swamping your body with nutrients that it doesn't know what to do with, and that causes a problem. Food allergies can lead to weight gain. And that's something that didn't really occur to me. But people can be allergic to certain foods. They may find that that's their favorite food and they binge on that food, but they actually have an allergy to it that causes a problem, that causes an imbalance in the system. It doesn't have to be, we know about gluten intolerance and we know about dairy intolerance, but there are actually a lot of different food allergies out there that can lead to problems because it knocks your system out of balance. So to back up there slightly, if you have a food allergy or you suspect you have a food allergy, and one of the ways that you can check that is do a food diary over 3 days. Check what happens. If you have a certain food and you can't get enough of it, you want to have more and more and more of it, even though you're not really hungry, but your body's craving something. Could be that you're allergic to that particular food item. It doesn't have to be that you're getting a stomach ache or that you're vomiting or something like that. My niece, when she was first being weaned onto solids, one of the traditional things is to try them with egg. Well, my sister-in-law knew that her daughter was allergic to eggs because within seconds of that egg passing her lips, it was coming out in projectile form. Not a pleasant sight, but she knew then that there was a problem. And when they tested her, they discovered that this child is allergic to all sorts of different things. We jokingly say she's allergic to life. But the result is that if she sees food now, she gobbles it down. And I do suspect that at a later stage, she could end up with a problem. So they have to watch her pretty carefully. But one way to find out a food allergy is to go and see a dietitian. Let them guide you, let them help you. And if necessary, sometimes it's easier to be admitted to hospital if you are on a medical aid. Be admitted and let your doctor do a comprehensive blood allergy workup to see what the problem is or where the problem is. Sometimes it can be quite surprising. Nutrient depleted foods leave us with hidden hungers, even after a large meal. Have you ever had a big meal, you gulp it down, you feel full, but within a few minutes or maybe an hour or so, you feel hungry again? I know I've had that. And what that means is that your food has been processed to such an extent that you're not actually getting the nutrients that your body needs and craves. You can have a low calorie meal that is high in nutrition, and you will feel very full very quickly. And obviously the opposite also has the same effect. So you can have a large calorie meal with very few nutrients in it, and this is typically your fast foods, and you then are hungry afterwards. So you want to go and put on more stuff. And often it's a slice of bread, more calories, more starch, yet you feel hungry a little bit later. So there's a lot of things to look at. So the more nutritious a food, the less of it we need. And often when we start people on a supplement program, they will complain that they suddenly are starving. Their appetite has increased to such an extent. And I know a couple of people, before I understood why, who said, oh, no, I'm not taking those tablets anymore because they just make me want to eat all the time. And that is what happens when your body suddenly gets the nutrition that it needs. And this often happens for somebody who hasn't had a good diet throughout their life. And you start them on Formula 4. And suddenly they're starving, they're hungry, because their body is saying, whoa, I'm now getting nutrition, give me more. And what we need to do to guide them on that is say, look, you don't have to eat more, because especially in a skinny person, they don't want to put on weight. I had one lady who's a dance instructor, she didn't want to put on weight, but she was dead scared that that is what was going to happen because she was always feeling hungry. What we need to advise them then is to actually increase their supplements. So if they're only taking 1 or maybe 2 Formula 4 a day and they feel as though they're starving, let them double up, let them treble up for a few days, sometimes a week, until their body has reached the nutrition level again, and then cut back. And they won't feel hungry anymore because their body has now got the nutrient levels up to where it wants, and it can sort of relax, for want of any better terminology. Taming erratic blood sugar is effective in weight loss. So Prof. Tim Noakes will tell you low carb, high fat. A high fat or high protein diet keeps your blood sugar levels under control. As we have learned over the years through NutriShake and the GR2 shake, they were developed to maintain blood sugar levels. You don't want something that's high in sugar that's going to spike your blood, put you on high, and then drop you again. And this is what happens with things like sodas and foods that have got a lot of sugar in them. So we want to keep your sugar levels consistent, not too high, not too low, just consistent. That is why NutriShake was developed the way that it is. It is high protein. It contains all 22 amino acids, and it has enzymes in it to help with digestion, and also high fiber to maintain your blood sugar levels. Protein and fat slow the absorption of carbs and keep blood sugar levels down. Again, this is exactly what our Neolife Shake does. By reducing inflammation in the body, we can improve insulin function and facilitate weight loss. Now, a lot of fast foods are high in omega-6, which contributes towards inflammation. We don't have enough omega-3, which is anti-inflammatory. Do we see now how and why the breakfast pack was put together? Obesity isn't the only problem. A small waist can lead to Alzheimer's. People like me have a higher risk of having high blood sugar tendencies, which can lead to Alzheimer's. Something I don't want to ever go through, but it's possible. Elevated insulin is associated with memory decline. Everything in the body revolves around insulin levels because that is how digestion works. And I don't have time to get into the full digestive system right now, but that is why diabetics need the extra insulin, because the pancreas is not operating correctly to control that insulin release during digestion of food. Some of the Alzheimer's symptoms: confusion with time and location, withdrawal from social activities. I think Corona caused Alzheimer's as well because they forced us all to withdraw from social activities. Difficulty completing familiar tasks. You go into the kitchen and you want to make a sandwich and why did I come into the kitchen? Or you've got the slice of bread over there, now, what am I supposed to do with this? That sort of thing. Difficulty solving problems. Poor judgment. I think the government has got a problem with that as well because there's a lot of poor judgment over there. However, this is other issues. Trouble with images and spaces. People get scared of their own looks. Difficulty with words. People fall over their words. Sometimes I wonder if I've got that problem because I'll want to say something, you've got it clearly formed in your brain, and you sort of trip over your tongue as it comes out of your mouth. Somebody with Alzheimer's has a lot more of a problem with this. The emotions are all up and down. Memory loss. Again, you go into the kitchen to make a cup of coffee and you get there and you forget totally why you're there. Or you put down your car keys and you move into another room to go and do something else and you completely clueless as to where you put your car keys down, or your glasses, or the TV remote, or whatever. Again, misplaced items goes along with the memory loss. You put something down, you go away, but you put it down. I've heard of people putting their glasses or their phone into the fridge because that was the last place they were at. And they've searched for hours because they can't find it because they've put it in a place that's unusual and not common. So those are all some of the symptoms of Alzheimer's, otherwise known as Alzheimer's. So what are some of the solutions to these issues? You want to avoid appetite stimulating additives. You see, there's Alzheimer's coming in again. And those are things like too much sugar. Too much of anything is bad for you. Too much sugar, too much starch, too much water, too much coffee. So with that, you get your caffeine, etc. Be careful of those things. Avoid exposure to pesticides. And that can also include our cleaning products. And I better move my butt because we are running out of time. Things like cleaning products, your cosmetics, all of those things can contain toxins and pesticides. Okay, avoid low-fat, high-sugar diets. Your donuts and coffee, classic one. Fast foods, classic one. Build your diet around low-density foods, such as fruits and vegetables. If you've ever been to an Acres leadership weekend, you will know exactly what that means, because that is how Charlie teaches you. And keep your blood sugar level stable. Again, we get back to the Neolife Shake. Ensure protein intake is sufficient. Neolife Shake. And build your diet around the low density foods. There's your carotenoids and also your Formula 4. Voila, there's our protein shake. It helps you to keep your muscle, lose the fat because it's causing an increase in metabolism. And because of the high fiber content, you feel full and satisfied. Supplement with omega-3. Why? Antioxidants. And anti-inflammatory and antioxidants to reduce inflammation. Antioxidants, carotenoids. And there we have, what does SAB put together? Neolife Shake, Pro Vitality, the classic breakfast pack. There is your best, healthiest fast food that you can find. Start your day with that and you will have yourself set for the day. Solution to Alzheimer's. Supplement with vitamin C and E. If you just supplement with vitamin C or just with E, apparently it's not as effective as if you have both. I learned that when I was putting this together. So we've got one of the most effective vitamin C's and vitamin E's around. Omega-3 rich food can help repair damage and build healthy cells in the brain. We've always known fish is brain food. Now we know why. There's our salmon oil, the best on the market today. Complex carbs, and as we've always known, when SAB puts together a product, they put together the complete thing, not just a single atom. So you won't just get a single C or a single E or a single B. You'll get the complex. And this is how food gives us as well. Your carbohydrates are complex, so you've got all your trace elements as well. Vitamin B complex supply the energy to prevent starvation of brain cells. And that completes my PowerPoint. So I'm going to stop sharing. We've got 6 minutes left. Please, if anybody's got any questions, unmute yourself and fire away.
Yeah, you know, Alzheimer's is a very scary thing. The one lady of our church, she was always taking the other ladies to the movie. Down the stairs, she said, I don't know where that place is. I don't know whether I will get it. I said to her, don't worry, Roxy, it's just behind Sanlam Center Snippets. And then you realize nobody is too good to get sick. I mean,
Correct.
She's got a healthy lifestyle and it just happened.
Yeah. And it can happen to any one of us.
Anyone. Very scary. And I also laughed because the other day I was making coffee, but I had so many things on my mind and I couldn't understand why didn't the microwave didn't ping for my hot milk. And then the milk was in the fridge. My mug with my milk was in the fridge.
Oops.
That's the end of me.
Better start with the mind enhancement.
Yeah.
All right. Anybody else got any questions? All right. So yeah, I'm going to be putting together a PowerPoint again for next week. Hopefully, I'm not quite sure when, but we'll do it because some people have conned me into doing something on Saturday as well. So I'm doing a PowerPoint for that too. So I've got to get my brain straight, otherwise I'm going to get myself all confused over here. So we've got 4 minutes left. but I will put something together somewhere along the line and go on to the next thing. And I'll just try and keep it short and sweet. If I'm getting too technical, please let me know, because sometimes I do forget that I'm using big words, and I try not to, because I do that with my patients as well. I don't like using big words. And in fact, when I have referrals from some of the doctors or the physios, I get all confused because they like using big words and I've forgotten what those big words are. So if I am getting too technical for you, please let me know so I can break it down. And we'll just go slowly but surely go through the body from head to toe, each system, and this can probably take the whole year. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. If you find that it's getting boring, tell me and
No.
we'll change subject somewhere along the line as well. But I find it fascinating, and I think it will help to advise people that of what to take, why they're taking it, and why they need it. So that was my idea behind doing this. And thank heavens for guys like Jim McAfee, who are significantly brighter than me, because I'm just an echo of what he tells me. So thanks.
Sean,
Yes.
what about fiber? The fiber tablets or the multi-fiber for these people to stop feeling hungry?
Definitely a good idea. And also for diabetics. Yes, we have the fiber tablets as well as the multi-fiber blend. And I think they are both useful in their own way. They both work slightly differently, but a good idea to add. My personal opinion, the multi-fiber blend is a little bit more user-friendly because you can add it to your shake, you can add it to porridge, you can add it to baking, which you can't do with the fiber tablets. And with fiber, we're not just getting a single source of fiber, like you'll get in health shops. There you'll get psyllium husk or all bran flakes. People tell me, I get enough fiber. I'm having my all bran flakes or my wheat bix or something like that. You're only getting one form of fiber there. There are multiple forms. In the fiber that we have, we've got your soluble, we've got your insoluble, you've got your lignans, you've got your pectins, there's a whole mess of them that they've put together to make it more effective. Things like psyllium husk can actually lead to other issues like irritable bowel syndrome because of the problems that they can cause over there. So fiber is very, very important for curbing hunger as well as controlling blood sugar levels.
Thank you.
Okay, right. We're down to about a minute, so I think I'm going to wrap this up. I will be publishing this shortly, I hope, as long as my system permits me. Tomorrow evening, we have another presentation with Neolife, corporate one. So please tune in at 7 o'clock for that. I think it is Andrew doing new distributor orientation. So please join for that. It's going to be very, very good. This month is getting more people to join up. We've got the best products, we've got the best information. Let's not be selfish. Let's share it. Let's get people healthy, because we're living in a sick, sad, tired society. We've got the solutions to those issues. So thanks, everybody. And I'm going to stop my